It doesn't matter what someone says about you. It doesn't matter what they think. It doesn't matter what they gossip, because what Jesus feels about us, who he created us to be, is way greater than what anybody can throw at us, right? He says that he knitted us in our mother's womb, that his thoughts towards us are good, that they're greater than the grains of sand, that we are formed in his image, right? So it doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter what people do, right? Because his ways, his thoughts are greater. And I'm going to share a little example of, a trend that's been going on in my life, right? So since childhood, even till now, thus far, Satan's little playbook is to get people, groups of people, to come against me, whether that's lying about me, whether that's, heinous accusations, bullying me, leaving me out, whatever. At this point, it's just like, I'm not affected by it as much because Jesus has grown me so much, right? But my point in saying all this is that no matter what you're going through, no matter what Satan tries to throw at you, whatever spiritual warfare that you are going through, it's so important to remember what Jesus says about you. When life tries to knock you down, right? When, Satan thinks he has you, in his grips, and I'm gonna do this towards them, and I'm gonna throw this at them, and it just feels like, your world is caving in. It's just so important to remember that Jesus, what he says about us, is supreme, and he loves us so much. He loves us more than our parents. He loves us more than, I don't know. We love the thing we love here on earth. I don't know. But it's just so good to remember what he says, right? And the only way that you're going to know what Jesus says about you and about us, his creation, is to know him, right? The only way to know him intimately and to know what he feels about us is to get to know him. We can't know him if we're not spending time. We can't know him if we're not reading our word, if we're not praying, right? And so it's just a good reminder to be in fellowship with God, because God sees everything that we're going through. Whether we feel it or not, Jesus sees everything that we're going through. My favorite name for God in the Bible is El Roi, because Hagar, I believe it was, in Genesis, she named God, and that was actually the first, sighting where someone named God, like put a name to God. Anyway, but she called him El Roi, the God who sees, right? And so I just love that. And it's always such a good reminder in my life that even when it feels like no one else sees whatever situation you're going through, no matter if no one else sees the spiritual warfare that you're going through, God sees. And God's timing is perfect. I always tell God, it feels like you're the God of the 11th hour, right? For me, it's like, I want you to show up right now. I want you to do something right now. I want you to tell them to stop right now, whatever, fix this situation right now. But God doesn't always work in our timing. Sometimes, he allows situations to linger on because he wants us to trust him. He wants us to be in greater intimacy with him. And a lot of the times that means suffering, right? Suffering for Christ. That's the only way that we'll be refined and be molded into the image of Jesus, right? And I feel like I'm going on a little tangent, but it's all good information. But it's just good to remember that the only way to know Jesus, right, especially when we're being beaten down, right, where it feels like there's no hope, we have to run to Jesus. It doesn't do us any good to run away from Jesus. Of course, Jesus will seek us out He'll seek us out. He'll chase after us. He'll do whatever it takes to get an intimacy with him. But it's just good to remember that Jesus knows and sees everything that we're going through. He loves us. He cares for us. The Bible says even when our mother and our father forsakes us, he doesn't. Even when our friends forsake us, he doesn't. Even when, I don't know, let me think of a situation. Even when people let us down, right? He doesn't let us down. Even when we put our hope and trust in a situation or a person, whatever it may be, God doesn't let us down ever. So it's just good to remember to keep our eyes on Jesus whenever we're going through spiritual warfare, whenever we're going through those attacks. So, yeah, hope you found this helpful.